Do you know what? Said Thomas on a fine spring morning.
What?
Said Percy.
Do you know what? I won't know what until you tell me what is.
It's Easter, Thomas explained.
Every Easter morning, the Easter Bunny gives us treats in a basket. What's the point?
Said Percy.
We can just get candy at the store.
Thomas was taken aback. I don't know what the point is. Come on, you two, said Thomas's driver. Sir Topham Hatt wants us at Tidmouth Sheds. Both Thomas and Percy set off to see what Sir Topham Hatt had wanted. Once they arrived there, all the engines were talking excitedly. Silence! Boomed Sir Topham Hatt. As you all know, it is Easter, and a very special holiday requires a very special event. The engine of my choice will pull an Easter special. Percy got really excited. He had never gotten the chance to pull a holiday special. In order to be chosen, Sir Topham Hatt continued, you will have to work extra hard. Skarloey, what are you doing here? Everyone looked at Skarloey. Pardon me. That was odd. Well, anyway, everyone just go to your jobs. Yes, sir, they all said, and they set off. Later that day, Thomas and Edward were shunting at the docks.
Edward, said Thomas, what's the point of Easter?
Easter commemorates the resurrection of Jesus Christ, Edward said softly.
Oh, right. 3 days after he was crucified.
That's right, said Edward. Everyone was terrified because they thought he was a ghost. They soon knew that he was alive when he cut his hands and showed his flesh. And, Edward continued, children hunt for eggs because eggs resemble rebirth. Thomas was amazed.
You're very wise, Edward,
said Thomas. Thank you, said Edward. You will be too someday. Edward shunted the troublesome trucks to Thomas's train. Take care, Thomas, warned Edward. You are carrying very important cargo, and these trucks can be very troublesome. I'll be fine, said Thomas, and he puffed away. Oh boy. Meanwhile, Percy was dreaming about pulling the Easter special. But he wasn't watching where he was going.
Oh, sorry, James.
Yeah, just watch where you're going in future. All Percy could do now was wait for help. Percy was now very worried. What if this meant he couldn't pull the Easter special? Murdoch had come to the rescue. What happened here? He asked. Percy wasn't watching where he was going, so he bumped into me.
It was an accident,
said Percy.
Can you help us, Murdoch?
Why, of course, said Murdoch. Couple me up. Murdoch backed up to Percy. They both started to pull very hard. James's wheels met the rails and he was back on the track.
Thank you, Murdoch,
called Percy as Murdoch pulled away. So long, Murdoch called back, and he chuffed away. Bertie the bus noticed that Percy was a little sad. What's wrong, Percy? He asked.
Oh, Bertie,
said Percy.
I really want to pull the Easter special, but I just made a big fool out of myself, so I don't think I can.
Don't be silly, Percy, soothed Bertie. You have all day to make up for it. Just then, they heard a very familiar whistle. It sounded like it was a distress call. That sounds like... Thomas! It was Thomas. Thomas was going way too fast. Help! He shouted as he darted by. Percy, now's your chance to prove yourself. Go get him, shouted Bertie.
Don't worry, Thomas. I'm on my way,
he shouted and the chase began. Thomas was terrified. He was out of control.
Oh, why didn't I listen to Edward?
Percy wasn't far behind, but trouble lay ahead. Murdoch was chatting with Toby at the crossing ahead.
Oh no!
It was a terrible mess.
Are you okay, Thomas?
Percy called.
I think so,
Thomas replied wearily. Fizzling fireboxes! What happened? You came in really fast.
I'm sorry, said Thomas. This is all my fault. Edward warned me to be careful. Oh, what a silly engine I am. Don't worry, Thomas,
soothed Percy.
We all make mistakes. I made one this morning.
All we needed to do was sort things out, said Murdoch. Thomas now felt much better.
So what are we waiting for? I'll go get a crane,
said Percy, and he quickly puffed away. Soon, Percy found a crane, and soon enough, everything was laid back on track. Just then, Sir Topham had arrived in his car. I'm very proud of you, lad, he said. You have made up to your last mistake by helping a fellow engine. I'm very proud of you. Percy beamed.
Thank you, sir.
As for you, chummish, Sir Topham Hatt continued. You have caused confusion and delay. I thought you could handle troublesome trucks.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir,
said Thomas. Anyway, you all should come to Chipmouth Sheds. There's a surprise. Who's going to pull the Easter special?
Does Sir Topham Hatt sort of sound different? Yeah.
Now it was the moment that all the engines were waiting for. Who was to pull the Easter special?
It's so gonna be Percy, said Thomas. He deserves it.
I quite agree, said Edward. You really worked hard, Percy. Even James had to admit that Percy did deserve to pull the Easter special. Greeting, lads. It's Sir Topham Hatt. I'm going to say who's going to pull the Easter special.
Here it comes, Percy. Get ready.
Scarlet. What? Happy Easter, all. I hope you have a good one.